In the previous session, Zumbo decided to cast Guiding Bolt on Judge Corliss Thane and attacked him in the middle of a court hearing. He's in prison along with Tuff. There's multiple plot lines going on right now. One involves the ghost, which is haunting the estate. Plus, we also have several factions after the gold hidden in Waterdeep. One is the dreaded wizard Banshoon, plus the crime lord Xanathar. The rest of the group gets approached by Barnibus Blastwind. Greetings. I'm a detective working with the city guard. I was the one who testified to Tuff's innocence at the hearing. I see you are adventurers. If you don't mind, I could use your help. You see, there is the body of Dagult Neverremember, and I'm interested in moving the body to a safe location. I was wondering if I could hire your services to protect it. Wren explained, Oh, you think someone's after it? Do you think they're trying to find the stone? Barnibus raised an eyebrow. So you do know about the Stone of Golor and the gold cache? I see you know of the game that's being played. Well, here's the problem I've got. I've been hearing rumors about people snooping around the cemetery, looking at the mausoleum which houses Dagult Neverremember's body. He's the one who hid the cache after all, and I'm thinking someone, or maybe multiple someones, are after it to try and see if they can get info from him. They might try to erase him or cast Speak with Dead, interrogate his soul for info. Problem is that several glyphs have been put on his corpse with protective warbs on the crypt, making it impossible to be brought back or have his soul interrogated. But I don't think that's going to stop these corpse thieves. Point is, I need your help. I'd like to hire you guys for a job. Help me get the body out of there to a safe spot. I can't get help from the city. Wren's like, that sounds sketchy as fuck. Why are you going out of the way to hire adventurers if you're part of the police? Barnibus explained, yeah, this is off the books. I'm doing this behind my boss's back to make sure it gets to a safe location. Sometimes I need to do what needs to be done, by whatever means will work. I need to do what I have to keep the city safe. What do you say? The group was like, this sounds pretty sketchy, but if the body is being watched, maybe he's right. Wren agreed, we'll do it, but he's probably going to betray us. Barnibus was like, I can hear you when you say that in front of me. That was out of character. We cut over to the other two players, Tuff and Zumbo, who got thrown into prison. Tuff is like, it's an absolute injustice. Zumbo was like, me too. All I did was fuck over an asshole. Last I checked, assholes love to get fucked over. Tuff was indignant. We're not the same. He pointed an accusing finger at him. All I did was chase down a card and try to get Maxine to stop. All I wanted to do was give her a message. Oh, really? A woman asked. What message was that? The players finally noticed that they were sharing a cell with another human female. She was well-dressed and wearing noble regalia, although it seemed like she had been here a few days. Thorvin wanted us to tell her that they're on to— Stop! The woman said, holding up her hand and halting Tuff. Her voice dropped to a whisper. What are you doing? How do you know those names? Tuff explained to her what they had been through, how Thorvin Twinbeard had helped them escape from prison, was working for the Harpers, and how they were trying to pass a message to Maxine. The woman seemed to get serious. You need to be more careful throwing those names around. You could get my men into serious trouble. She introduces herself as Romalia Haventree, the leader of the Harpers faction in Waterdeep. We are a spy agency that's dedicated to helping Waterdeep and protect it from underground and secret dangers that its citizens never even know exist. And both of those two work for me. You can't be throwing their names around like that. Why are you in prison? Tuff asked. I was framed, Romalia explained. I also remind the group that there was a newspaper article about her being in some kind of secret smuggling ring. I was actually framed by Judge Corliss Thane. We had found information on him. They had been caught multiple times planting false info and ousting people in offices that were non-humans. From outside, Wren and the others hear a very loud shout from Zumbo going, I told you! I was right! He was the bad guy! Thank you! Romalia explained, we have a set of documents called the Scarlet Missives, which were his plans and notes he had written to others to coordinate his schemes. We held on to them and were using them to blackmail him. However, a week ago, my home got broken into by the Black Viper, a notorious thief and rogue. She went in, specifically found the missives and escaped. I don't know if she still has them, or if he hired her or what, but either way, if you guys can track her down and get the missives back, I'll repay you. Zumbo asked, what exactly did you have in mind? Information, she explained. I know where the Vault of Dragons is, the location where Dagult Neverremember hid the cache of gold. If you can get me out, I'll tell you where it is. Later on that day, the two get released and sentenced. Both are required to do labor. There are 3 options, either working 3 days in the City of Dead, 2 days in the Griffin Cavalry, or 1 day in the Dung Sweepers Guild. The nicer the work, the longer the sentence, because no one wanted to work with the Dung Sweepers Guild. Tuff was sentenced to 2 days in the Griffin Cavalry, grooming the griffins, cleaning up after them, feeding them, and so on. He's like, is there any way I can extend my sentence? 2 days is just not enough time to make friends. You know what? He thought to himself, if I got up to some more trouble, maybe I could come back here. Tuff, don't get any ideas. Zumbo was forced to do work in the Dung Sweepers Guild. That day, the players did their first day of their sentence. Zumbo was sent to the Dung Sweepers Guild to do labor, while Tuff spent the day at the Griffin Cavalry. Tuff was having a blast. Even though he'd cleaned out their pens and did other menial tasks, he had plenty of time to run up to them and start petting them. "Nope, get away, you're supposed to be working," one of the handlers said. Tuff asked, "Can I go riding on one?" "No," the handler said. Maybe next time." Tuff thought, "if only there was some way to get back here." Tuff, that's not how a penalty is supposed to work. We cut over to Zumbo, who's lining up in front of the sewer grating. A burly half-orc was shouting at them, "All right, roses, you're going to be deployed into the gnarliest sub-sewers. Every day, monsters of the deep come knocking on our door. You might have fought a goblin, or a kobold, maybe even a rock. But have you ever faced down a dozen shit golems when the Mages College decided to empty out their old alchemy lab? Or the urine mephits that formed under the public restrooms after the largest 7-hour concerto decided to run? Because that's what you're going up against. Because we're the only thing standing between Waterdeep and this whole place going down the toilet itself. I don't learn my soldiers' names until they survive one whole day." "Do most of them die?" "No, everyone just quits after 1 day." So that was Zumbo's day fighting monsters that came out of the sewers. The day after the hearing, in the paper, the players read that there is going to be an auction hosted by the Amcathra estate. Among the notable list of items, one is the Stone of Golor. Nana was like, wait a second, someone is supposedly auctioning the Stone of Golor? It must be a shard, right? Who is it and how do they get a piece? Unfortunately, the listing casually left out that information, so the players had their next lead. Go to the auction happening at the Amcathra estate, find out who's selling, talk to them, and try to acquire it somehow. Once it was nightfall, the entire group had one other task to complete. They had agreed with the detective to help him transport Dagult Neverremember's body out of the cemetery to a safe location where he'd be away from prying eyes and crowbars of gravediggers. They met up at the cemetery with Barnibus Blastwind. He nodded to one of his friends, who unlocked the door. The mausoleum entrance swung open with loud as the stone scratched over stone. "Thanks," Barnibus said. "We've got to go quick. We don't want to attract too much attention." The coffin was loaded up onto the cart. Wait a second, Wren said. "Just gotta make sure." He threw open the coffin. What's in there?" "A body." "I don't know what Dagult looks like, but, seems to be right." And he closes it again. The coffin was thrown into the back of the wagon, and the group left the cemetery. "Where we heading?" Barnibus explained. "There's a temple not far from here." The cart wound its way through the alleys, with the players riding on the back, keeping a lookout for anything suspicious, eventually coming to a stop when the cart pulled in front of them. Wren got out and approached with his weapon ready. "Hey, who's out there? Why'd you stop?"
"Stop," the man says. "I'm supposed to stop you. Stop here. That's what they wanted. That's what they said."
Wren immediately goes, "Guys, something's fucky here." From around the back, 2 monsters show up wielding pitchforks, cackling madly. "Kill, kill, 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 kill." The driver's suit rips as he starts swelling up like a balloon, becoming the hulking monstrosity.
"Master said I'm supposed to kill you, supposed to take from you what they want."
The players fought off the devils, their bodies evaporating into ashes and getting blown into the wind, leaving no trace of them behind.
"Let's get going," Barnibus said. "We've attracted too much attention so far. We need to go."
Wren asked, "What the hell were those things?"
"I don't know," Barnibus said. "I figured someone else must be after the body. I didn't think it would be this bad."
Weaving between the streets at a fast pace, the party manages to make it to the church. Their final stop, there's a cleric at the front who welcomes them. "Thank you. We can keep it safe here, in our hands." The players were rightly a little bit suspicious. I think we're just going to have a little look around. Wren and Nana went into the church and scouted out the building. It seemed to be a perfectly normal location. Wasn't anyone hanging around, waiting to ambush them. No death cultists hanging in the wing. Maybe there was dust over everything, but that was it. The cleric said, "Don't worry, you have nothing to worry about." Everyone said, "This is sketchy as fuck." But Barnibus paid them their fee, and he had helped them out before, and there really wasn't anything else to do. Besides, it didn't seem like he was trying to fuck them over specifically, so they shrugged and went, that's fine. So they just took their money and left. So they never said this as the players, but I think that their suspicion was, hang on, if there are people after this body, shouldn't there be multiple people there guarding it? Or maybe like powerful wards? Like there's just one dude. Like what's one dude going to do when those thugs show up to try and take it later? Are we really relying on the idea that no one knows where it is? But these are just after the game thoughts. At the time, they just kind of accept it and move on. There really wasn't anything they could do about it now. The next day, Tuff turned in to complete the final day of his sentence. That morning, the newspaper bird landed on the porch. The party opened up and read. There was an article with the headline, "Couple Murdered in Home Break-In." What? Tuff was aghast. Anyway, it looks like there was a break-in at the castle ward. Shouts were heard. When the police arrived, they found an elderly couple, dead. The players started grilling me for questions, combing through the article for details. What was the name of the couple? Do we recognize them? Or the area? No, I say. I tell you the names, but you haven't heard of them. What did they work as? They ran a small grocery store on the corner. Was anything stolen? No, the police think that someone broke in, tried to steal something and got caught, killed the couple and then fled the scene. After pondering it over, Nana explained, "Well, I don't think we have enough information to go on. It is strange, though." Because it was kind of a dead end, they just decided to keep their ears to the ground if they heard anything else. Wait and see if this was a pattern. After that, the players had the morning free. Wren gathered everyone together. "Okay, so we got some downtime right now. I think we need to go after the Black Viper, see if we can get the Scarlet Missives. Romalia's in prison right now, and she promised to give us info if we get her free. Also, we did kind of fuck over her spy, so I do kind of feel bad for that." The party went to the house of the Haven Tree, the leader of the Harpers. When they arrived at the estate, the place looked sad. Since Romalia had been taken to prison, the house was quiet and empty. Many of her assets had been sold off, and since she had been taken to prison for trumped-up charges of trafficking illegal goods, the house had gotten ransacked. They spoke with the butler. "Yes, we saw the heinous Black Viper break into Mistress's room. We caught her rifling through the safe and taking the papers. Someone tried to stop her, and this fell out." They showed an insignia of a rose. Nana asked, "You don't really think she was dumb enough to actually bring some kind of incriminating clue with her, do you?" Wren thought about it. "Yeah, it can't be something from her personal belongings, can it? Like, there's no way she would leave incriminating evidence on her, right?" So, side note from me, the GM, to the audience, that's exactly what happened. So my players were interested in getting some clues, and they seemed a little bit lost. It was a bit of a dead end. So I decided to drop a pretty heavy clue into their laps. And the ironic thing is that immediately afterwards, they were like, "Nah, she couldn't have dropped this. Like, this one's like way too on the nose, isn't it?" And I was just thinking to myself, well, what do you want? You went there looking for evidence. You found evidence. Grumble, 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 grumble. Investigating, the players tracked down the insignia to the house Rosnar. They were a family that had fallen out of favor a long time ago when it had gotten caught doing illegal trading. Over the past decades, it had been trying to clean up their image and be more presentable. The players make their way to the fancy section of the castle ward where the estate is. The first thing they notice is that all across the front lawn, lounging under the trees and in the shade, is dogs. About a dozen hounds chasing each other around and keeping their noses out for trouble. Wren was like, "Puppies! Doggos!" I explained that no, they were not pups, but full-grown dogs. "What are you talking about? All doggos are good boy puppers." At the front of the house is a bell. The party debated what to do. They were suggesting plans like, maybe Val could turn into a mouse and run into it, open the door from the front, or we could pretend to be delivery people, or what about going up the tree and climbing the fence? Zumbo suggested, "Wow, that sounds like a lot of work and completely unnecessary." He pulled out his warhammer. "I know an easier way of getting in," and smashed the front gate with his weapon to break in. Val was shocked. "Ah, what are you doing?" The bell on the gate went ding, 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 ringing an alarm. The gate fell open. Wha-bam! "Well, there you go. There it is. So you guys wanted the thing done, so I done did it." You guys can see a commotion in the house. Servants are looking out the window, wondering what's going on. Several of the dogs barrel over to them and start growling at the group. They start panicking with what to do. Wren casts illusion, creating a massive fake beholder, which roars at the dogs and looms over them. The dogs were scared and confused by the beholder, turning to face it and growl at the illusion. "Oh no, oh my god, look, a beholder," Wren said, trying to play up the scene. "Better go inside and make sure everything's okay." The group ran into the house and sprinted up the stairs, searching the rooms. They noticed one of the ladies of the house grabbing the cart and sprinting off with a sack slung over his shoulder. Searching around the room, they eventually found a Black Viper outfit, jewelry, and gold hidden away. This was the room of the youngest daughter. It seemed like the daughter of the Rosen family was the infamous Black Viper, the one who had stolen the missus from Armalia Haventree and helped to frame her. From the second-floor window, they see several Griffin cavalry riders heading in their direction, and several guards coming to the house. The servants are running around screaming in panic, with many taking off and running away. The group bail out, splitting up, to hide in the side streets. Peleios and Wren used disguised self to change forms, moving amongst the crowds and gawkers, while the others traveled stealthily, sneaking to the shadows. They managed to escape from the guards that are patrolling around looking for information. After some time, Wren sneaks back, trying to find the head of the family. "Hello there, Rosna. I'm just a friendly neighborino, wondering what's the dealio?" He pretended to be some kind of innocent bystander who was just asking about what had happened. "Oh my gosh, we don't know. There's apparently a break-in and a beholder showed up and it was quite terrifying." Does your daughter happen to have any particular moonlight activities?" "What? I don't know what you're talking about." Her parents seemed actually genuinely confused by what he was asking. I let him know, after talking to them a bit, they do seem kind of oblivious to the whole Black Viper thing. It could be they're innocent and don't know what their daughter gets up to. Eventually, the group made it back to the Troll Skull Manor, dodging through the streets. Wren was kind of dejected. "Okay, well, that didn't help us at all. It looks like the woman ran off with the stuff, and, I'm not exactly sure what to make of that." There was a knock on the door. It was Investigator Barnibus Blastwind. "So, I was called out to the Rosnar estate. Apparently there was a break-in earlier." Wren was like, that's, interesting. And, they match your guys' description." There was an awkward silence. Barnabas added, "Look, I didn't tell them anything about it, but, I need to know, what's going on? Why were you there?" Wren lets him know, "Do you know about the Black Viper?" The investigator raised his eyebrow. "I've heard the stories. There's a rumor going around." Wren added, "Yeah, their daughter's the Black Viper." "You're talking about Esville?" Barnabas Blastwind thought about it. "I'll keep an eye open for her. I'll let you know if anything turns up." As he left, the group chatted, and Val brought up, "That guy is sketchy. Why did you tell him it was us?" Tuff agreed, "Yeah, he's really suspicious." Wren brought up, "I don't know if you guys realize this, but we kinda don't have that many friends. And besides, if he wanted to get us arrested, he could have, but he didn't." The players saw the previous day as kind of a disaster. Zumbo and Tuff had started off in prison. They had hunted down the Black Viper, who was the youngest daughter of the Rosnar family, only to have her escape into God knows where. She could be anywhere in the city. They had one other thing to take care of tonight. As the party prepared to head out to the Amcathra estate, where supposedly the auction for the Stone of Golor was going to be held, that was where that session ended.